Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mason Fowler. Today we're going to do a little presentation over maneuvering slow flight. So let's take a look at what slow flight is. Slow flight is when you're maneuvering the airplane. For this example, it's going to be a Cessna 172. You're going to be maneuvering the airplane at around 50 to 55 knots. One thing you have to be careful with whenever you're maneuvering in slow flight is your turns. Normally you would do a standard rate turn, but you've got to take into factor that when you're turning an airplane in slow flight, you're changing the center of gravity and the center of lift, so you could potentially stall out at a faster airspeed, which would not be good. So what we got here is, this is X-planes. I'm going to show you a demonstration of slow flight, getting into slow flight, and then hopefully if we have enough time you'll be able to see the whole maneuver. So what I'm doing now is I'm stuck at 3,000 feet, flying straight and level, and I'm at 100 knots. So what you want to do is start slowing down. You want to hold your pitch up to hold 3,000 feet. As you do that, the airspeed comes down, so we can drop our first notch of flaps. I'm still at 3,000 feet. My airspeed's at about 67 knots. Bring down to 20-degree flaps. If you start getting too slow, all you just do is just add some power. So we're still stuck at 3,000 feet. We're going about 55, 57 knots. We're going to go ahead and put in our third notch of flaps. Now we're at about 55 knots, 53 knots. We're still at 3,000 feet. It's harder to tell on a video because you don't actually get the vibrations, or you don't actually feel the buffet on this video. But when you're going in slow flight, when you go to turn, it's typical to do a standard rate or a half rate turn. So we're going to be turning to the right now with like a half rate turn. And if you look, we're right at 50 knots, holding 3,000 feet. And that was a turn 90 degrees to the right. And then we can go back to the left. And this right here is pretty much maneuvering in slow flight. You've got to be very careful not to overbank. You will stall the aircraft, especially going in slow flight. And then if you want to come out of slow flight, increase your power. Start lifting your flaps in increments. Watch your airspeed. Your airspeed should come up. We're still at 3,000 feet. And there goes our last notch of flaps. So we're back with no flaps, and we've got full power. We're still right around 3,000 feet or so, and we've gained all of our airspeed back to V8. So that's pretty much slow flight. Thanks.